Your dog has been doing this since the moment they met you. And every single time you probably pulled away, laughed nervously, or pushed their nose aside without ever once stopping to ask why. Why does my dog do this? What are they actually looking for? Once you understand what is really happening in that moment, you will never look at your dog the same way again. Because this behavior, the one that embarrasses you in front of guests, the one you have tried to correct 100 times, is not rude. It is not random. It is not a bad habit. It is one of the most profound things your dog can do to tell you exactly how they feel about you. Stay until the end, because the last reason is the one that will genuinely move you, and it is the one that most owners never discover.
Reason 1. Your body is a newspaper, and they are reading every word. Have you ever noticed that your dog seems most interested in this behavior when you have just come home, just exercised, or just experienced something emotionally significant? That is not coincidence. That is precision. What most owners do not realize is that the human body, particularly certain areas, produces extraordinarily dense concentrations of chemical information, pheromones, hormones, biochemical signals that change in real time based on your emotional state, your health, your stress levels, and even your recent experiences. From a biological perspective, a dog's nose contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors, compared to roughly 6 million in a human. Their brain dedicates approximately 40 times more neural real estate to processing smell than ours does. Research in canine olfactory cognition has shown that dogs can detect hormonal shifts in humans that are completely imperceptible to other people, including elevated cortisol from stress, the chemical signatures of fear, and even early indicators of illness. When your dog sniffs you in those moments, they are not being inappropriate. They are reading a chemical biography of your last several hours.
Reason 2. They are checking if you are safe. Think about this for a moment. Your dog greets strangers this way too, but with you, there is something different in how they do it. Longer, more thorough, more certain of their welcome. That difference is everything. What most owners miss is that this behavior, particularly with people a dog loves, is also a safety assessment. A form of continuous monitoring that is rooted in deep biological loyalty. Dogs who are bonded to their owners develop what behavioral researchers describe as a chemical baseline, a scent profile of their person that represents normalcy, safety, and home. Studies in canine attachment behavior have documented that bonded dogs show measurable anxiety responses when their owner's scent profile changes significantly. After illness, emotional trauma, major stress, or even dietary shifts, the dog notices. At a chemical level, they notice before you may even consciously register the change yourself. When your dog sniffs you, they are running a comparison. They are checking you against the version of you they know and love, verifying that you are still you, that the person they have built their entire emotional world around is present and intact.
Reason 3. It is a greeting of absolute trust. How many times has your dog done this when you were least expecting it? In a quiet moment, at home, when nothing was happening. No arrival, no excitement, just them walking over and making contact. Most owners interpret this as random, as boredom, as the dog simply being a dog. It is the opposite of random. It is one of the most deliberate social gestures in the canine vocabulary. What most owners do not understand is that in canine social behavior, close olfactory contact with another individual, particularly in vulnerable areas, is not casual. Between dogs, this kind of greeting is reserved for individuals they feel entirely unthreatened by. It is a gesture that requires the complete absence of fear. You cannot greet someone this way while holding any defensive tension in your body. Research into canine social behavior and interspecies bonding has found the dogs extend this greeting to humans they are most deeply attached to, and that the behavior is more frequent, more relaxed, and more prolonged with their primary attachment figure than with anyone else. The dog is not simply following an instinct blindly. They are expressing with their most sophisticated biological tool that you are safe, that with you they can be completely unguarded.
Reason 4. They are trying to understand your emotions before you express them. Have you ever had a hard day, one where you walked in the door carrying something invisible and heavy, and your dog knew before you said a single word, before you sat down, before you cried, before you even admitted it to yourself? That was not magic. That was chemistry. This is where most owners make a profound mistake in how they understand their dog's intelligence. We tend to think of dogs as reactive, responding to what we show them, but the truth is far more remarkable. Dogs are predictive. They're reading what is coming before it arrives. Research in canine emotional intelligence and biochemical detection has established that human emotional states produce measurable chemical changes in the body, and the dogs detect these changes in real time through exactly the kind of olfactory contact we are discussing. A dog who sniffs their owner carefully during a greeting is not just collecting information about where you have been. They are reading your current emotional state, your anxiety levels, your sadness, your excitement, with an accuracy that no human observer could match. Studies have shown that dogs can identify human emotional states through scent alone, with no visual or auditory cues, at rates significantly above chance. They smell your stress before you speak it. They smell your grief before you name it. They smell your joy before you let yourself feel it fully.
Reason 5. It means you have been chosen. This is the part most owners never fully absorb. Your dog does not do this with everyone. Think about that. Think carefully about who your dog greets this way, how long they linger, and who they simply sniff briefly and move on from. There's a hierarchy in that behavior, and you are at the top of it. What most owners do not realize is that the depth, duration, and relaxation of this olfactory greeting is in direct proportion to the depth of the bond. A dog greeting a stranger collects surface information and moves on. A dog greeting their person lingers, returns, investigates fully, not because they have not found what they are looking for, but because the experience of you, chemically, is something they return to the way a human returns to a place that feels like home. Research in canine bonding and selective attachment has confirmed that dogs develop what scientists call a secure attachment to their primary figure, a relationship that mirrors in both structure and emotional function the attachment bonds formed between human children and their caregivers. The behaviors associated with secure attachment, proximity seeking, emotional monitoring, distress at separation, relief at reunion, are all present, and this behavior is part of that reunion, part of the return to safety.
Reason 6. It is the purest relationship signal they can offer. And now we arrive at the last one, the hardest one to explain, but the one that, once you truly understand it, changes something in the way you see your dog forever. You have probably spent years mildly embarrassed by this behavior, redirecting it, apologizing for it in front of other people, treating it as something to manage. But consider what this behavior actually is, stripped of all human social overlay. It is your dog, voluntarily, with no agenda and no expectation, seeking connection with you in the most direct way their biology allows. No performance, no inhibition, no social calculation. Just the clearest, most unfiltered signal their nervous system can produce. I want to know you.
I want to be near you. You are the most important chemical presence in my world. Research in human-dog coevolution has suggested that over 15,000 years of living alongside humans, dogs have developed an orientation toward their owners that has no real equivalent elsewhere in the animal kingdom. They have not just adapted to live with us, they have adapted to love us, to need us emotionally, to monitor us chemically, to feel incomplete without our proximity in ways that activate the same neural pathways as grief. When your dog does this, they are expressing the full weight of that evolutionary history. Every generation that came before them, every bond between human and dog that shaped their species, it is all present in that gesture.